Hello, everyone, and good Sunday morning to you. This is Les from Absolute Vorticity with your model discussion video forecast. Today is October 9th, 2016. So let's go ahead and dive right into our forecast. All right, today's top weather stories are going to be the dry weather conditions that we continue to see over the region. I have some stats from CVG to show you in regards to precipitation for the month of October thus far. Our next front is due in here Wednesday night into the day on Thursday. That will be our next chance of rain, but chances do not look all that great at this point. I'll give you a long range update to your forecast, what's going on for the rest of October. And finally, some more thoughts on the winter. I'm going to give you a La Nina update, and we'll talk about that. So, okay, here is the monthly climate data from Wilmington, as you can see here. And we only saw 0.04 of an inch of rain on the first day of October. Otherwise, and we've been dry and mild. I mean, temperatures right now are expected to be in the 60s with lows in the 40s. Well, we've had one night in the 40s until this morning, and we had 4 days in a row in the 80s, as you remember from last week. It was like summertime out there. So as you can see, we pretty much need the rain, and the dry weather pattern continues until Wednesday night and Thursday. As I said, that's going to be our next front. Speaking of which, here is Wednesday night around midnight, and you can see a line of showers just getting ready to move into the area now. This is the GFS model. And here is Thursday morning at 8 a.m. with the front moving through the region and the showers pretty much coming to an end. So there's pretty much a 6 or 8 hour window where we could have a chance for showers Wednesday night and Thursday. And that's really about it. You can see that the coverage of the rain is not all that great throughout the area. There's just not a lot of forcing with this front, and we're just not going to see a lot of moisture with it due to our dry air that we have in place and the dry ground that we have in place across the area. So here's the European model, a little more robust with the rain, but again, the highest concentration is going to be off to the north and west of Cincinnati. And this is the European model for Thursday morning, and it's pretty much timing wise, it's like the GFS with the showers coming to an end. All right, I've been talking about on the weather forum around the 20th or shortly after October 20th, and this is one of the early morning runs, the 6Z run of the GFS, and you can see it as a sizable storm system over the Great Lakes with a pretty good cold front coming through the area, and a nice shot of cool air coming in behind this system. And here's the European model at day 10, which is the 19th of October, and you can see it is also showing a storm system taking shape over the plains here, area of low pressure over here in northeast Iowa, southeast Minnesota, with the trailing cold front coming back like this. So you can certainly see that the models are sensing some sort of change in the overall pattern around the 20th, give or take a few days. So here's the NICEP ensemble mean, and these are the 500 millibar height anomalies. This is for day 10. You can see a trough over the Gulf of Alaska and the western United States. And you can see a pretty good Pacific jet here coming into the country. Ridging over the eastern United States is continuing. However, it is weakening. And you'll see that on the next slide. You can see a negative NAO developing with the ridging over Greenland. And this is the start of the negative Arctic oscillation. And you can see that here in the teleconnection indices. This is from yesterday, where the PNA is going to be rising to positive levels as we progress through time. The NAO staying negative. The Western Pacific oscillation starting to drop more toward neutral after the 20th. And you can see a change in the Eastern Pacific oscillation, where we have ridging over Alaska currently. We're going to warm up while the troughiness comes back to the Gulf of Alaska area, and that'll also help build up some snow cover in Alaska as well. And then you can see after the 20th, that sort of goes back towards neutral again. So that's another reason why, if this can go back toward neutral or even go into the negative phase for the last week of October, hopefully the WPO can do the same, then that is looking good for my call for a colder pattern as we finish out October. And here's the NESUP ensemble mean at 360 hours for the 24th of October. And you can see a lot of the same things that I talked about with the negative Arctic oscillation with all the ridging up here. EPOs starting to, regions starting to get back toward neutral with the ridging over Alaska. You can certainly see a west-based negative NAO with the ridging over Greenland and Baffin's Bay. And this map is pretty much telling me that we're going to have a Pacific jet undercutting their blocking to the north. And we're going to see a lot of storminess here as we close out the month of October. And I think we'll see cooler weather as a result due to shots of cool air behind each cold front and a lot more precipitation than the dry pattern that we're seeing now. So I think in the next 1, if not 2 weeks, probably closer to 2 weeks, we should begin to see some more fall-like weather around here in terms of temperatures and precipitation, which is what we should be seeing as we transition from fall into winter anyway. So really nothing out of the ordinary. Okay, here's the CFS V2 extended range. This is for week 3. This is the last week of October basically, and you can certainly see cooler than normal weather out in the plains, getting into the southern Great Lakes and western Ohio Valley regions. Week 4, this is around Halloween into the start of November. Pretty much normal temperatures for a good chunk of the country. Warmer than normal to our north in Canada. That's the blocking that is continuing to show up that we've been talking about up there. So here's our update on the La Nina, since that could become a player in our winter. You can see that we have warmer than normal readings off the coast of South America, and that's the ENSO regions 1 and 2. We're just around neutral, maybe a little below that as you start to get away from the coast. Now, out in the middle, the ENSO region 3.4, which is where we officially record La Nina, El Nino, is it neutral? That's the area where we officially designate that. We're still in intro neutral conditions, but you can see that we have started to drop in regards to the La Nina area there. And ENSO region 4, which is the western Pacific, it has also begun to drop. So these are signs that the La Nina might be trying to gain a little steam here. We'll have to see in the next month what happens, but just a possibility that I want to throw out there. Now, check out the animation over here on the right panel. This starts in August and ends October the 5th. You can see that a lot of the cooler subsurface areas are starting to make their way to the surface as you watch this area grow and expand of cooler than normal waters in intensity. So that's what that's showing us, is again another example of the La Nina possibly starting to gain a little legs here. So here is the sea surface temperature anomaly map as of October the 6th. A new update should come out either today or tomorrow. But you can certainly see the La Nina now sticking out like a sore thumb, a little bit better than on the last couple of images that we've seen. So it's starting to develop a little bit more than it was earlier. The Pacific Decadal Oscillation area, it is weakening the PDO. We'd have less reds and dark oranges and more normal to slightly above normal. We'll have to see if that trend continues as the La Nina continues to develop, or does it reverse? We're not sure yet. Again, we need to wait another month and wait and see what happens once we get into November before we can make any definitive trends. But just a couple of areas that I wanted you guys to keep an eye on as we get deeper into fall. Here's the CFS V2's forecast for ENSO region 3.4. It pretty much has us dropping a little more, but weak Nina at best, folks. This does not look to get out of hand. This is pretty much weak Nina territory. I would say this shows a weak Nina at best before it starts to rise again late in the winter period back toward neutral. The IRI INSO plume as of mid-September pretty much shows the same thing. We might see weak La Nina officially before it starts to rise late in the winter. The European has not updated for October yet, so I did not include it. Here's the Aussie folks as of late September. They're keeping it neutral. They are not dropping it to La Nina status officially. They're keeping it at neutral. So we'll see what happens there. And here's the CFS V2 as far as temperatures go for October. Around average, pretty close to average for November. A warmer than normal December with a southeast ridge. And then it's showing a better second half of the winter with a cold January and a colder look for February before the southeast ridge, before the southeast ridge comes back for March to maybe give us a little severe weather. So, all right, that's pretty much our update here. Thank you for watching my model discussion video forecast on your Sunday. I hope you enjoy it and have some fun this afternoon watching football. And we will talk to you soon.